When I came on the board, there was really very little, effort by the board to fundraise. It mostly fell to the staff, and we mostly got our money through a handful of grants. We started looking at this as not being very sustainable. Like, what happened if one of our grants went away? And I'll get to that later. But we would have lost like a third of our budget, poof, if one of our funders went away. So we realized that we couldn't keep doing it that way, and we somehow needed to figure out what we were going to do about that as board and staff in a growing organization. Last year at the conference, I don't know how many were there and attended, Andy Robinson, who's a fundraising trainer and consultant, gave a day-long workshop on fundraising, and it was phenomenal. It kind of sparked, some interest in our board in terms of, hey, maybe I can, do some of this stuff. So what we have now is a 3-year fundraising plan. We've also had some training of our board to do fundraising. And when I say fundraising, there's a whole bunch of different things that go into that category called fundraising. And we came up with a board menu, which board members get, and they get to sort of pick and choose what they feel most comfortable with doing. So not everybody wants to go to somebody and say, hey, will you give me money? But plenty of our board members know people that they feel like we should ask, and they can identify the people and then, say, hey, so-and-so is going to give you a call, or can we go, have coffee, and I'm going to bring somebody from the organization along, and they can do the asking. So we put together this board menu, and now we've got the board kind of customizing their own individual fundraising efforts in a lot of ways, and also kind of creating a lot of ideas in terms of how they want to go about fundraising. We've got an annual calendar that shows, we know we do the conference in February, so we need to start going after corporate sponsorships in September, October to get that stuff ready. And we said, well, we really need to do some sort of major donor fundraising, in the early part of the year. And so we asked the board if they would take on hosting some house parties as fundraisers. So we had 3 different house parties that were completely run by the board in different parts of the state. We had one in Savannah, we had one in Athens, I had one in the Atlanta area. So some house parties can be a way just to open the door, and we did do an ask, we did raise a little bit of money, but we also made a lot of contacts that we can follow up on later and then go back and ask these folks for things later on. We did do an ask, and and I followed back up with these people right around, a couple weeks later. It was close to Christmas, and we did have some year-end donations come in and things like that. But you can do it. What you want to make clear, if you're having a house party and you're going to have and you're doing it to fundraise, you got to tell them that it's a fundraiser. Bring your checkbook, we're going to follow up, or I'll follow up with you and ask for money, or, that kind of thing. You don't want to ambush them. That's not fair. It was a combination of my friends in my neighborhood, people I knew. We also went through our Georgia River Network list of people in the, who are in our members or former donors who were sort of in the area too, and invited, from that list as well. So we sent out a couple hundred invitations probably, and ended up with maybe 30 or 40 confirmations. We had a couple of things we wanted to accomplish. We wanted to raise some money. We also just wanted to say, hey, this is who we are, because you have to do that several times with people until, you kind of make that connection and then bring them, closer into the organization. And every time you contact someone, it can't always be about asking for money. So we're trying to figure out ways to do that too with our blog, and we're on Facebook, and all that kind of thing, so that we're constantly telling people what we're doing, and it's not always like, oh, by the way, give us more money. We also started a monthly giving program at Georgia River Network that we just started at the very end of last year, which is one of the things that Andy told us that that is a great way to take existing donors and step them up a few more dollars. We're also really encouraging our board to come up with just different ideas about how to raise money. Last night we auctioned off the snorkeling trip to the Conasauga River. Has anybody done that? It's the funnest thing ever, isn't it? So I'm sure that wherever you are around the state, there's fun, experiential, types of activities that you can do to get people out on the river, hikes or walks or whatever. When we do follow-up phone calls for, our Christmas, our year-end ask, we typically try to get our board members all in the same room and have everybody kind of making phone calls at the same time, because you sort of, you feel a little bit more safety and security in numbers. You can kind of cheer each other on as you're, dialing for dollars, that kind of thing. We sent a letter out to our Paddle Georgia people a year ago, and kind of just did a, hey, how are you? This is what Georgia River Network's up to. And then we followed it up with a phone call just to see, just to make a contact with them. And then we did, and some of the phone calls we did ask for money and some we didn't. But we wanted to make sure that we're keeping in touch with these people, because they come on our paddle like every year, and then we don't really sort of do any more outreach to them. But they are our, closest sort of audience to us, that we should be trying to, reach them before we go out and try to reach strangers and people that we don't know. We weave fundraising through everything else that we do, all of our programmatic stuff, all of our outreach, communications, all of, fundraising kind of weaves through all that. So when we're talking about other things, we're finding that, fundraising kind of ideas just start sparking off of, everything, which has been a little bit of a, journey for us. It didn't happen naturally. You have to have, somebody who just constantly kind of like beats that drum a little bit. To have a little section of the board meeting where we self-report on, we have quarterly board meetings. So since we met 3 months ago, what have you done about fundraising? And to share sort of like, what you've done, what you've thought about, what you're planning on. If you're having challenges around fundraising, maybe, you can get some help from, your peers on the board, or just to have all of that stuff sort of out in the open. We're also, as we recruit new board members, we set the expectation that, yes, you're expected to raise money, either give it yourself or go get it. And we can help you. We've got lots of, ways of helping you, but to make sure that everybody who comes on our board understands that one of the key responsibilities of a board member, I think, is fundraising. If you want to move your board, Andy talks about how there needs to be a spark plug or two on each board who wears the fundraiser hat and starts bringing it up. And I would recommend not having a fundraising committee, because then everybody who's not on the committee thinks, oh, they're over there raising money, I don't have to do it. Fundraising, I think, really needs to be part of the whole board, and everybody needs to be somewhere on the page with it. Write down the name Andy Robinson. Look him up online. He's got lots and lots of great things online on his website. He's actually got several really, really good books that are like 15 or 20 bucks that will take you through the whole how to do an ask, all that kind of stuff. So the more askers you can get, better off you are. And the staff person, I mean, they're wearing multiple hats, and fundraising is just one of them. And as a board member, you can just wear the fundraising hat and really help the staff member out.